Tacoma Public Utilities celebrates 125 years and the appointment of a new director.
The Tacoma Police Department helps send off a local rider who is taking off across the country to raise awareness about PTSD. All that and more coming up next on Tacoma Report. Hello, I'm Laura Proctor.
And I'm Angie Foster. Welcome to this edition of Tacoma Report. It's official. There's a new leader for the City of Tacoma department responsible for the electric and water supply we depend on each day. After months of searching, a new director has been appointed to head Tacoma Public Utilities. Jackie Flowers, the general manager of Idaho Falls Power, becomes TPU director August 1st. She has led Idaho's largest public power utility since 2006 and was that utility's first female manager. The Tacoma Public Utility Board and Tacoma City Council have approved an offer of employment that will include a $330,000 a year salary. Flowers was selected from among 90 applicants.
We had amazing candidates that were so passionate in the industry, and there's so much talent in the area. Jackie Flowers really stood out because of her ability to just connect with many different people, both in the public process and the public reception, and with the City Council as well.
About 1,400 employees work at TPU's 3 divisions that provide power, water, and freight hauling rail services for hundreds of thousands of residents in the region. TPU is a publicly owned utility operated by the City of Tacoma, and it is governed by a 5-member board and has a current biennial budget of $1.2 billion. Flowers replaces Bill Gaines, who retired last year.
With a new leader in place, TPU is celebrating a major milestone this year, its 125th anniversary. Devastating fires in the late 1800s that destroyed parts of Seattle, Spokane, and Ellensburg led to the founding of TPU. TPU's interim director says there is a strong legacy of providing reliable water and power services to be proud of after 125 years.
This community has grown and developed because of having access to clean water, to clean drinking water, water for fire protection, power, electrical services, transportation services through Tacoma Rail. Those are absolutely necessary for quality of life and for the economy.
Proactive, bold, and a key factor in the development of Tacoma into the city it is today. That's how former mayor and historian Bill Baarsma describes Tacoma Public Utilities and its 125-year history. Baarsma has his own connection with utility that dates back more than 50 years. John Phillips has the story.
That the city was and the country was experiencing a depression during that period, but despite that, the citizens floated bonds to purchase that utility from Charles Wright.
As a former mayor, professor, and now board president of the Tacoma Historical Society, Bill Baarsma has an impeccable knack for recalling milestones that made Tacoma great. When it comes to TPU, Baarsma was part of it in 1964 as an assistant public information officer. That's him posing for one of the utility's publications.
The actual being there at that time was really pretty exciting.
He was there when the utility was building its 3rd and largest hydroelectric project on the Cowlitz River. He's hard-pressed to recall an unexciting period at TPU, especially in the beginning.
The big concern was not so much power as it was water.
In the 1890s, growing Tacoma was desperate for a clean, reliable water supply. At the time, a few private companies were supplying it from springs near the bay and south of town.
And the power was kind of a secondary concern, but it became the primary concern.
Electric streetcars, water wells, and sooner homes and businesses were needing electricity.
And the whole issue of private versus public power was part of the politics of the period. And Tacoma was one of the first municipal corporations in the state of Washington to make that big move.
The city removed water and power service from control of private for-profit companies and built its first hydropower plant on the Nisqually River at La Grande. It satisfied Tacoma's needs in 1913, but not for long. With more power demands, in the 1920s, Tacoma carved its second hydro project out of the wilderness of the Olympic Mountains.
It transformed the city and allowed us to grow, and both in terms of jobs and residential units, residential neighborhoods.
In the first decade of the 20th century, the city constructed a gravity-fed water supply pipeline from the Green River. It also took over and improved streetcar service that moved people to jobs and freight to market.
I mean, it's an incredible story when you think about it.
The early beginnings set the stage for 125 years of regional growth that Tacoma Public Utilities would help foster.
The actual construction and operation of 7 hydroelectric dams on 4 rivers, just one city of 200,000 people. That pipeline that comes from the Green River and the second pipeline, incredible operation. Their proactive efforts to maintain our important South Tacoma aquifer, something that we have that the big city to the north does not have, that secondary source of water. The railroads that we own and operate, not just in the tidelands. And then, of course, the telecommunication system. You put all that together, and there's not another community anywhere. Certainly Seattle can't compare to what we've done. There's no other community. We own it, we operate it, it's ours. And that's really, I think, an important part of our story.
For Tacoma Report, I'm John Phillips.
The first major step toward public utility ownership in Tacoma started with an election in April of 1893, with voters being asked if the city should buy Charles Wright's Tacoma Light and Water Company. The measure passed by 104 votes.
Planning and Development Services has completely renovated how they process single-family home permits. The new residential combination permit will involve only one permit application rather than the old process, which required up to 9 separate permits. This shift will save time for applicants and result in quicker permit review and approval. For more information, visit the Tacoma Permit site. Recently, the Public Works Department was awarded the American Public Works Association 2018 Project of the Year. Tacoma was selected in the Historical Restoration and Preservation category for the Tacoma Avenue South Bridge Rehabilitation Project. The project provided a complete rehabilitation of the over 80-year-old bridge, including a new deck, wider sidewalks, and the addition of 2 bicycle lanes. Public Works will receive this award at a presentation scheduled in August of this year. When we come back from the break, we'll find out how art can impact hearts.
And how a retired police officer is writing to raise awareness about PTSD. Stay with us. Artist Ronnie Shelbin is working on a project that bridges the understanding of people who are housed and those who find themselves without homes. Megan Snow brings us more about this project.
In our backyard is art that brings to the stage the things that make us all the same whether we have homes or not.
I think the backyard is something that a lot of the time is looked at like this very individual, personal, protected property space. And I think thinking about it in a more inclusive way and what is Tacoma as the backyard.
It is a compilation of stage performance and video storytelling to get people talking about what it means to be homeless and homed during 5 community events.
These events are participatory and they will give everyone who come a lot of opportunities to express how they feel about the issue, what their experience is. Both people, I'm really encouraging people who experience homelessness and providers and also other residents to just show up and both share their experiences and hear the other.
For a full listing of the events, go to the website or find them on Facebook. For Tacoma Report, I'm Megan Snow.
This is part of the city's first Artists in Residence program through the Office of Arts and Cultural Vitality. For more information about the program, go online.
The Tacoma Police Department recently helped kick off a nationwide motorcycle ride called Ride for Relief to bring awareness to the issue of first responders living with post-traumatic stress disorder. Jeff Shepard, a retired police officer and firefighter, lives with PTSD following an ambush in his patrol car and a separate targeted explosion. Shepard founded Ride for Relief in an effort to give first responders a focal point to openly discuss living with PTSD.
I'm taking on this ride to bring awareness to PTSD for first responders and police officers. And we're traveling across the nation from Seattle to Virginia and doing press conferences in all the local police departments and fire departments, see what they're doing to help officers with resiliency and officer wellness.
Well, the Tacoma Police Department is proud to help Officer Shepard kick off his ride. We support our employees as well as first responders suffering from PTSD, and we are honored to help raise awareness.
Jeff was provided a ceremonial escort to the city limits of Tacoma and on his way across the country to Bluemont, Virginia by officers of the Tacoma Police Department. If you'd like an update on Jeff's ride, please visit facebook.com/TacomaPD.
Students at IDEA, a Tacoma Public Schools high school focused on industrial design, engineering, and art, recently built Mayor Victoria Woodard's a bike which she rode with a group of students more than 4 miles from the school to the Tacoma Municipal Building last month, wrapping up another successful bike month. To learn more about being a bike-friendly city, Mayor Woodard's, along with a group of local and regional officials, got together recently to start planning and discussing a proposed trail that will run from Tacoma to Puyallup. This group of mayors, officials, and bicycling advocates received grant funding to travel together to Denmark in August to see how some of the best bike networks in the world have been built.
A group of Indian educators visited the region recently as part of the Global Educator Program. The group, which is comprised of school principals, directors, and counselors, met with Mayor Woodard's city manager Elizabeth Pauley and other city staff. The Global Educator Program seeks to create people-to-people contact between India and the United States through educational leadership and exchange. After the break, we'll find out about this year's Pride Festival.
And we'll learn why it's so important to make sure your pets are licensed. Don't go away.
A highlight of the summer is the annual Tacoma Pride Festival, which will be taking place July 13th to the 22nd.
This week-long celebration honors the LGBTQA community. Events include the raising of the rainbow flag, the Tacoma Pride Street Fair, which takes place on the 14th from noon to 6 p.m. in the downtown area, the annual Pride Awards, and much more. All of these happenings are open to the public. Go to tacomapride.org for a complete list of all the activities taking place as the community comes together to celebrate Pride.
Did you know that all dogs and cats over the age of 8 weeks are required to have a pet license in Tacoma? A pet license helps you reunite with your pet if they get lost. It's also visual proof that they have an owner. Licensing your pet is also the law, and the fees help support the city's animal control officers who investigate animal cruelty cases. Protect your pet and purchase your pet's license today. Apply or renew online at cityoftacoma.org/pets.
Administrative offices at the City of Tacoma will close Wednesday, July 4th in observance of Independence Day. There will be no pickup of garbage, recycling, or food yard waste on Wednesday, July 4th. If your pickup day falls on or after this day, collection will be 1 day later. All other collection days are on their regular schedule.
And as a reminder, the possession and use of personal fireworks is illegal in the City of Tacoma. If you're caught, you can receive a $257 fine. So take in the fireworks display at Freedom Fair instead. That's all the time we have on this edition of Tacoma Report.
A great way to find out about the services the City of Tacoma has to offer is by going to cityoftacoma.org. Until next time, I'm Laura Proctor.
And I'm Angie Foster. Thanks for watching.